Richard Stanton had it all: money, power, the perfect wife, yet beneath the surface a secret simmered, a secret that promised to shatter his carefully constructed world. He lived a double life, one in the public eye, full of charity galas and board meetings, the other hidden in the shadows with her.
The guilt gnawed at me, a constant companion. I loved my wife, I truly did. But this was different. This was a fire I couldn't quench.
Richard had built his empire from the ground up. Years of tireless work, of sacrificing everything for success. He had achieved his dreams, but somewhere along the way, he'd lost himself.
Our marriage was comfortable, predictable, perfect, everyone said.
His wife, Eleanor, was a pillar of society. Beautiful, elegant, always composed, but beneath the surface, Richard felt a growing emptiness, a yearning for something more. Someone who saw him not the millionaire, but the man. It happened at a fundraising event. She was a volunteer, pouring champagne, her laughter like wind chimes. Her name was Anna. Their eyes met across the crowded room. In that instant, something ignited within him, a spark he thought long extinguished.
She was everything Eleanor wasn't: young, carefree, full of life. I found myself drawn to her light, like a moth to a flame.
Their affair started slowly, cautiously. Stolen glances, brushed fingers, late-night phone calls. It was a dance of desire and restraint, each moment charged with unspoken words and hidden emotions. They navigated their feelings with the precision of a tightrope walker, balancing on the edge of discovery and discretion. Each encounter fueled the flames of their forbidden desire. The secrecy added a layer of intensity, making every touch, every kiss feel like a stolen treasure. Their hearts raced with the thrill of the forbidden, and their souls intertwined in a dance of passion and secrecy. They met in hidden cafes, out-of-the-way bookstores, always careful, always aware of the eyes that might be watching. These secret rendezvous became their sanctuary, a place where they could be themselves, if only for a fleeting moment. The world outside faded away, leaving just the two of them in their cocoon of stolen moments. Always looking over their shoulders, they lived in a constant state of vigilance. The fear of being discovered was ever present, a shadow that loomed over their every move. Yet this fear only heightened their connection, making each moment together even more precious. The thrill of secrecy only intensified their connection. In the dim light of hidden corners, they found solace in each other's arms. Their love was a secret, a beautiful, fragile thing that thrived in the shadows. Every smile, every touch was a testament to their unspoken bond.
He showered me with gifts, tokens of affection and guilt. Each gift was a symbol of his love, but also a reminder of the boundaries we were crossing. The jewelry, the flowers, the handwritten notes, they were all pieces of his heart, given to me in secret. Each present a whispered promise, a desperate attempt to hold on to this fleeting happiness. We clung to these moments, knowing they were temporary, yet hoping they could last forever. The gifts were more than just objects. They were memories, fragments of our stolen time together.
Each present a whispered promise, a desperate attempt to hold on to this fleeting happiness. In the end, it was these stolen moments that defined their love. A love that was as beautiful as it was forbidden, as fleeting as it was intense. They lived for these moments, knowing that each one could be their last, yet cherishing them all the same. The guilt was a heavy cloak suffocating him.
I saw the hurt in Eleanor's eyes when I was lost in thought, the questioning look when I made excuses.
His work became his refuge, a way to escape the turmoil within. But the harder he tried to bury his secret, the more it consumed him.
I was caught in a web of my own making, the strands of deceit tightening around me with each passing day.
Richard's carefully constructed world began to crumble.
I became distant, withdrawn, lost in my own thoughts.
Eleanor noticed. She couldn't ignore the missed calls, the late nights at the office, the scent of an unfamiliar perfume lingering on his clothes.
Suspicion crept in, a poisonous seed taking root in my heart.
Section 8. The Unveiling. The truth, like a shattered mirror, cut deep and sharp, a carelessly discarded receipt, a whispered name overheard in a phone call. The pieces fell into place, revealing the devastating reality of Richard's betrayal. Eleanor had always trusted him, believed in the sanctity of their bond. But now the evidence was undeniable. The fragments of their life together, once a beautiful mosaic, now lay scattered and broken.
Richard, how could you? How could you shatter everything we built together?
Eleanor confronted him, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and heartbreak. She had never felt so vulnerable, so exposed. The man she thought she knew had become a stranger, a betrayer. The look in her eyes, once filled with love and admiration, now mirrored the icy wasteland her life had become. Every memory, every shared moment now tainted by his deceit.
Eleanor, I have no excuse. I never meant to hurt you. I was weak, and I made a terrible mistake.
Denials died on his lips. He knew there was no way to undo the damage he had caused. The weight of his actions pressed down on him, suffocating and relentless. He had no excuses, no justifications. The reality of his betrayal was a heavy burden he would carry forever. Only the crushing weight of his actions. The silence between them was deafening, filled with the echoes of broken promises and shattered dreams. Eleanor turned away, her heart aching with the realization that their love, once so strong, had been irreparably damaged. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same again. Section 9. Shattered Trust. The revelation of Richard's infidelity sent shockwaves through their world. Eleanor, her composure finally broken, retreated into a world of hurt and anger. The life they had built together, the dreams they had shared, lay in ruins. The foundation of trust, once unbreakable, had crumbled into dust.
I can't believe this is happening. Everything we had.
The pain was unbearable, a constant reminder of his betrayal. Section 10. Picking up the pieces. In the aftermath, Richard faced the consequences of his actions. The scandal made headlines, his carefully crafted image tarnished beyond repair. He lost Eleanor, his soulmate, his confidant, the one person who had always stood by his side.
I've lost everything. Everything that mattered.
He was left with nothing but regrets, the bitter taste of ashes in his mouth. Section 11. The Price of Deceit. This chapter delves into the intricate web of lies spun by Richard, a man who thought he could outsmart fate. His journey is a stark reminder of the consequences that follow deceit. Richard's story is a cautionary tale. He was once a successful businessman, admired by many, but his success was built on a foundation of lies and deceit. He manipulated those around him, thinking he could control everything, but the weight of his lies began to take a toll on him. A reminder that even the grandest castles built on a foundation of lies will eventually crumble. Richard's empire, much like a sandcastle facing the relentless tide, began to erode. The house of cards he had so carefully constructed started to collapse piece by piece. He learned the hard way that true happiness cannot be bought or earned through deceit. As he looked at his reflection, he saw a man who had lost his way. Walking away from the life he had built on lies, he realized that tearing up the contracts and deals he had made was the first step towards redemption. It comes from honesty, loyalty, and the courage to be true to oneself. Richard began to understand that the true essence of life lies in the simple moments of joy, the laughter shared with friends, the warmth of family dinners, and the confidence that comes from living an honest life.
If only I had been honest. If only... These words echoed in Richard's mind as he grappled with the consequences of his actions. The regret was overwhelming, and he often found himself lost in thought, staring out of windows, wishing he could turn back time.
In the end, the price of his deceit was far greater than anything money could buy. Richard's regret was palpable. He spent many evenings alone reflecting on his choices, realizing that the emptiness in his pockets was nothing compared to the void in his heart. It was the loss of love, trust, and the respect of those he held dear. The arguments, the tears, and the sorrowful glances at family photos were constant reminders of what he had lost. Richard's story serves as a powerful lesson that deceit may offer temporary gains, but the ultimate cost is far too high.